Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the config viewer in the editor. And the reason we're going to be looking at this is to find class names of weapons and optics and items. It's the easiest way outside of just going to a website, like the ones I've linked in my previous videos, but it's always up to date. So what we're going to do today is we're going to put a couple of weapons and items in this box, and we're going to get the class names from the config viewer. So right now the box is empty. I have the magazine cargo and the weapon cargo cleared. So it shouldn't have anything in it. And you go open the config viewer, and what you're looking for is config weapons. And there's a lot of stuff in here. Bookmarked already on the bottom should be config vehicles and config weapons. I'm just going to manually scroll down. And there's a lot, like I said, a lot of stuff in here. So config weapons is right here. Double click, open it. You'll see all of the weapons, accessories, hats, vests, uniforms, and they all start with a certain prefix. So from the top, A rifle is assault rifle. This is where you're going to find all of your assault rifles. ACC is accessory. That's going to actually be at the top. So accessories, then the assault rifles. And we scroll down, and we've got the binoculars in here. There are a lot of things that you actually cannot put in the box. For example, autocannon won't go in the box. H is for hats. H gun is for pistols, handgun. And as you can see, you can either have a version with flashlight, sound suppressor, or the base version. Items, compass, GPS map, radio watch, laser designators in here. I didn't even know laser designator was in the game. That's something I'll be able to play around with. Launchers, your LMGs, but do not try to put the minigun in the box. It won't work. Let's see, your optics, your rangefinder, your SMGs, your S rifles, which are your sniper rifles. U is for uniform, V is for vest. And I think that's about it. So that's all the different stuff you can get from looking at the config viewer. Now, a lot of this stuff is not going to be able to be put in any boxes or anything. Like, you can't put the truck horn in the box. You can do the toolkit. Oh, and the last thing is the muzzle sound suppressors. So, muzzle is all the suppressor names. And that should about cover it for all the stuff that you can get out of the config viewer. You can play around with it and see what other stuff you can find. I don't think putting any of that stuff in the box, like the minigun, you can try to put it in the box, but it's just going to give you an error. So play around with it, see what's in there, see what's not. That is everything you can look at under the weapons config viewer. There are lots of other config categories, but for the most part, this is where you're going to get all the stuff that you want to put in your boxes. But I'm going to show you how to get the weapon name, which is what you're seeing here, the magazine type that these things take, and then the accessories names, which are also in the base folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the new F2000 in this box, and I know the F2000 is actually called the MK20 in-game. So what we're looking at is the MK20 goes from here, the MK20 ACO_F, down to here, which is the MK20C_F. But I don't want them to have any attachments. So the ACO is the combat optic, ACO, and the MK20F, that's the base rifle. The MK20GLF is the base rifle with grenade launcher, and the MK20CF is the base carbine. And those are the three weapons that I want. So you can't copy and paste, so you have to go old school, or however you do it, and you have to write stuff down. So we'll put the carbine version of the F2000 in there, and it's A rifle _ MK20C_F. Now, the next thing we need to do is put the proper magazine type in the box. And you don't know what the magazine class name is, but it's going to be over here, and it's going to be under simply magazine. So you scroll down to get to M, and magazines, sorry, not magazine. And this lists all the types of magazines that this rifle will take. Now, all I want is regular magazines and red tracers. So I'm going to do 30 round underscore 556 x45 underscore Stanag and 30 round 556 by 45 Stanag tracer red. So I'll write that down. And the last thing I want, or the last two things I want a flashlight for it. And the accessories are up at the top. And there's only two in the game right now, which is the flashlight and the IR pointer. And I want the flashlight, and this is the base class name for the flashlight right here. So it's ACC underscore flashlight. And I want the new optic, which is the MRCO, I think. So we're going to scroll down to optic. And here's all the optics: the ACO green, Arco hammer, hollow sight, MRCO, and the SOS. And I want the MRCO. I've never, well, I've seen it a couple times. I've never actually used it. So write the name of that down. And now we have the class names that we want for the F2000 compact or carbine, the two types of magazines that I want, the flashlight accessory, and the MRCO. So we can close out of the config viewer, and we can go put that stuff in our box. Alright, so now we have to add everything to the box, and we've got all of our class names. So we're going to do this add weapon cargo. And now let's see if I typed all that in wrong. Right. See if I typed it in wrong. Oh, see, I missed something. I'm missing an end bracket somewhere. I didn't put a comma here after I ended the quotation mark. So let's see. Did it again. Oh, I accidentally put a end quote there where I shouldn't have. Let's try again. Oh. Did it again. I put an end quote there where I shouldn't have. Getting a little excited with those quotation marks. There we go. So that's a good way to always check that you have the proper formatting. You have to do that. So let's see if everything went in the box correctly. And there we go. So now we've got the proper magazines, the rifle, flashlight, and the MRCO. And this optic is actually kind of cool. Once did they change it? I thought it had been. I thought it was red reticle. I guess not. So now you guys know how to look stuff up in the config viewer, so you don't have to ask anymore. What's the name of this? What's the name of this? The class names have been changing since I made my first gearbox and unit loadout video, and now you can find out what they've changed to. I hope you guys learned something, and as usual, thanks for watching. One down upstairs.